What's happening, young McBride? How you keeping? How
Are
you
you
doing?
keeping, Mr. O'Mahony? I gotta tell you, I'm over here looking forward to my last non-cursed hour on this earth, Tom, because I have a feeling once we get this week's podcast out of the way, it's just fucking hell and damnation for us going forward. How are you keeping? How are you feeling?
I already have a priest, a rabbi, and an imam. And if I can get my hands on anybody else to come over to the house first thing tomorrow morning to bless the place, because this next hour is going to get creepy.
We're
Creepy.
taking our chances with this one, but how are you all doing out there in Listen Land?
Tom and
Uh,
Jerry Land.
Tom and
They're in
Jerry
Tom and
Land?
Jerry Land. Of course they are. Welcome everybody. Of course, we just ingratiated ourselves there by saying hello to each other without saying hello to you. But you're all very, very welcome back to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show. Of course, if it's your first time listening, going, what are these two bollocks about? Have a gander. There's rakes more back there. Last couple of seasons, we've been going off script as we had done in previous years, where we're sticking with our magazine style show. But typically, what we've been picking over the last two seasons are subjects that are dear or interesting to our hearts, and extrapolating them, deep diving them, whatever you want to call.
Yes, indeed. And indeed, subjects that are of interest to fuck all other people, which is why this podcast is just steadily plateauing. Tom always says hello to the new listeners, Tom. There are no fucking new listeners. It's the same cohort we have had since day one, and we fucking love them dearly.
Dark-hearted, fucking horn-toed freaks like us are
This
just
is
sitting
it.
there going, this is my gummy bears. This is my
Just
jam.
They're
This is the
just
stuff for me.
sitting there wearing the picture off their brown scapula between finger and thumb as they listen to us.
Playing with their miraculous medal in the chest hair of life.
Oh, my soul.
Do you know what? Look, let's just jump straight into it because I'm quite excited about this one. I've been too deep into the internet on this stuff. I feel like a couple of conspiracy guy friends of ours that I've found. I ended up in places that I had no business. I had to close the door again and say, "Excuse me, sorry, I beg your pardon," and reverse back out. And I just keep it back on track, because if you go down the route of black magic and whatnot, you can end up in Haiti. That's where I ended up.
Let
I
me
ended up
tell
in
you, Tom,
Haiti.
people are worried about the dark web. It's the green web you want to worry about.
Exactly. Because in this episode, we are going to be discussing the Irish phenomenon that is Piseogs. Now, some of you will be reading this from abroad going, Piseog? It is pronounced Piseogs. Piseogs, nothing to do with taking a pish. Piseogs. Sometimes
Nothing
you'll
to
see
do with old people, which is young people.
it is, yeah. It is. Yeah, it's not.
Maybe it is. Oh yeah, I said that with confidence. Tom. I don't know what the fuck these things are.
I read it out loud like that when I started looking into it first, and I assumed there was a pish and then a small pish, because Og, to put Og on the back end. So Gerard Og would be small Jerry, young Jerry.
Yeah.
Tom Og, you'd hear some fellas called Donald Og. This is Pish Og, but there doesn't seem to be a big pish.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just a singular pish.
Yeah,
one size fits all pish. Og.
You could have rappers that are like young Chili, and it's actually Chili
Og.
Og. Chili the less.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a rapper called
Lil
Young
Wayne,
Chili.
just Wayne.
Wayne, yeah, just Wayne Og, yeah.
This is Piseogs. So let's jump straight into it. Some of you will know what Piseogs are, you'll heard of Piseogs, but I'm going to briefly explain what I know to be Piseogs. The word Piseog has its different contexts in Ireland, which I found all over the country. It kind of slips under behind different curtains of meaning, but it typically means superstition, belief, practice, or it can mean a charm or a spell. That's kind of the original meaning of a charm or a spell, because much has been said. It would be because I got more from talking to my parents than I did from the internet, but very little actually solid written. Like there'll be a whole lot of waffle around some American who believes they know it, and a hell of a lot of time 'tis pure nutter scutter. So,
I don't think we're going to unmuddy those waters today, Tom.
Well, to be fair, what I think the best thing that has come from when we're talking about things, when we hit upon factual stuff, when we do hit factual stuff rather than opinion-based ones, I found is our brains tend to find old memories and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and that seems to be what Piseogs tend to be. Is
I'm expecting a lot of that, Tom. I'm very green to Piseogs right now, but I have a funny feeling I've heard a lot of these stories through the years.
And they, to be honest with you, they're as malleable as you can imagine. It would seem they can be, like there's ones up the road here that definitely, I'd say I don't know where they were cast in stone. These
Yeah.
Piseogs, these superstitions. Yet I guarantee fucking to you won't have heard them anywhere else. Do you know what I mean?
And
It must be
uh,
done this way.
and as you said yourself there, Tom, they're for good and for ill. It's a catch-all phrase, Piseogs. They're a blessing and a curse, Tom.
They're a blessing and a curse. So, like, typically, if you were to just read it in Wikipedia, and it is a curse, it is malevolent to a degree, like the actual Piseog. So, like, the same term is often used for general traditions like that, superstitions and everything else. Like I said, like if you lost your way, you'll hear there's sometimes one, if you turn your socks inside out, you'll find your way back. That's a superstition, but it falls under the Piseog umbrella a bit
Oh,
nowadays.
yeah, okay, so that's yeah.
But like, there's one where if you hear a knock at the door at night, you should run and open the back door to let the fairies out. I don't know what you were doing to fairies in the house anyway, but again, it's kind of a superstition. Maybe, people with ADD. I don't know. I
See,
don't know.
Tom, I fucking like even right now, I feel that I'm inviting courses down on me just by talking about this shit. I fucking knew I shouldn't have done this podcast.
Well, I will find the link for when we post this for our Twitter people, really, because you won't be able to open the link. I'll find the link on YouTube. There was a great journalist. He goes around Ireland and he interviews very interesting people. And I think I sent this clip on to you before. It's maybe a 25-minute interview.
Oh shit, yeah.
And he does it, in fairness, he's not Louis Theroux. He doesn't have the camera on him at all. It's all POV. And he's talking to interesting folk. He's podcasting, essentially, is what he's doing. And he meets this guy, Mayor Galway. He's very west of Ireland, but a very astute sounding man. And he, high up and low down, as real as the sky is blue, this man believes in the fae folk. So, and he could attribute a large amount of his wealth and his luck, because he seemed like a wealthy bloke, a wealthy farmer, to these. But who am I? Who am I in this day of knowing about the Anunnaki and all the different things of this, Sumerian text and whatnot? Who knows? Maybe they're aliens of sorts that are still here. But anyway, that's
Let's
getting up.
get into it, Tom. Yeah, let's
So they
let's
often
not go on course for longer than we have to.
right. So, but in all fairness, like I said, they do fall under. And tonight we will be talking about the full umbrella of things. But they do typically originally fall under darker meanings. So more than just like wishing someone ill, like a foe, a begrudging neighbor, or even the fairies themselves might cast a Piseog in order to cause real fucking harm on somebody or their land by breathing life into it, by using something that once lived. This was kind of the rule, the ground zero of Piseogs. Like, this was using something that once lived or might have lived. Now that's where it gets. The Piseog was said to be the most powerful when cast on May's Eve, so the eve of May. So we're okay. We're over the hump. We're over the hump.
Yeah.
May's Eve. And from that time, when the clock chimed midnight, if you had a chimey clock, the first light of dawn, if at this time, during those hours, you were to cast a Piseog, most often using an egg, raw or rotten, but also a piece of owl meat, a raven carcass, if you get your hands on it, because raven carcass comes up a lot. That is, you ain't getting out of that one if somebody has dropped a raven carcass or someone or similar. You did serious success if you did it right on May's Eve, and it was to be still on their property come the following morning, come sunlight. You've goosed them. You've goosed them. Some say the breaking of that egg released the curse. You might put it on a path outside a doorway. So like if you come out your door
like
on
like a little supernatural landmine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so
little
so
IED.
walk me through the process here, Tom. So I've pissed you off in some way, shape,
Yep.
make, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say for a second, Tom, let's use the power of our imaginations.
Mm-hmm.
Let's imagine I'm a fucking dose, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's going to be hard for you to do.
I can. Okay, I'm got it.
You got it. You got there quick, Tom. And I'm after pissing you off in some way, shape, make, or form. I'm after stealing land from underneath you, or like denied you planning permission, or like
I hate you already.
didn't
Sorry,
didn't let you out of
Hypothetically.
it. Didn't let you out of the turn. Whatever it is that I've done wrong to you, and you're like, I'm a fucking cast a Piseog on this guy. I'm going to curse this man.
Mm-hmm.
May's Eve is a great time to do it. If not, we'll take whatever caution we can get. But you're going to actually curse me. You're going to like call upon all here present to
There doesn't seem to be
ride with
any
misfortune.
incantations. There doesn't seem to be any incantations that are required. You just need to wish, like, so you're manifesting it. Like, maybe there's a
Right.
chant. You know what I mean? There's to talk about mindfulness and everything. I'm guessing it's along the same line. So I'll take an egg. I could leave it at your doorway if I want
Right.
your crops to fail. I could take a rotten egg. It would seem anyway. The more I read into this, the more disgusting the feature. Whether it's a rotten old bit of meat, a rotten egg, a dead carcass of a crow / raven. So now some people would don't give a shit about it, but by all accounts, farmers would walk around their farms on the morning of the 1st of May, or on those nights, I should say. Sorry, they would walk around on May Eve with I have heard of this, of lads who believed that there was going to be a Piseog cast on them and would walk around for fear somebody would lay a Piseog, because they would they could go into the barn too. That's the number one place that was popular. Go into the barn, stash the egg somewhere in there, or break the egg on the hay. And if so that the cattle were to eat it, chances are they'd all fall ill. So
okay. So, but like if I walk out and there's an egg on my doorstep, or I notice a bulge in the doormat and there could be an egg underneath it,
mm-hmm.
if I jump over it or like cut the tripwires to it,
Oh
can
no,
I,
no.
once it's on your property, you're fucked.
If you find it on May 1st, you're fucked. You're fucked. So
just that's it.
That's it. It's you're goosed, like, because you need to have nipped that in the bud by catching it the night before, at the latest.
Right.
So if you're up before dawn, you catch that egg, you fuck it off your property, you'll be all right. You find that fucking dawn has broken on the 1st of May, too late. You'll have to bring in probably a fucking an Irish version. There didn't seem to be many ways of backing out of it, other than asking.
Once you've been hit with this curse.
You see, well, I mean, if they have brought the fairies in on it, then you're fucking double fucked.
Okay, so not every Piseog is bringing down, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but we're just going to refer to them as their given name now, the fairies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you invoke the fairies to rot Tom O'Mahony's crops,
yeah,
it's hard to call them boys off, right?
There's little or no hope, because I mean, once you've engaged their services, that's it. Do you know what I mean? They're not backing up the truck, like. Now, I mean, if you haven't in your manifestations, if you haven't actually invited them to do it, and you've done it on yourself, by all accounts, you can ask that farmer, say, I was the bad bastard did it to you. You come to me and say, listen, what'll it cost? I know you fucking did it. What'll it cost for you to drop that? And I can release you of it, or I can tell you go fuck yourself. So yeah, but if the the fairies are in on it, you're goosed, because apparently they follow through.
They don't.
Now
would be a good time in the podcast, Tom, to just open up to the listeners and say, I believe every fucking word of this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I believe every syllable of this. And I don't know if it is that I believe it or that I just don't want to fuck with it.
Well, you see,
I don't want no part of this.
You see, there'll be folk listening to this going, Eric, go away out of that. But I can tell you here now, you are probably at most 4 generations away from being agricultural. There's very few people in Ireland. Like at one point, this was heavy duty stuff, probably 1800s, because the whole country was fucking agricultural at that stage, or agri adjacent at the very least, as you'd say yourself.
Agri-curious, Tom.
But look, this evening we will be talking about all Irish superstitions. It won't just be purely the deathly horrendous ones, but I wanted to talk the origins of the name Piseog. But it's not that it's become watered down, but it's just become easy for people down through the years to just lob all these Irish things, because lots of nationalities have lots and different, lots and lots of different superstitions. But I do believe a lot of them started here, because let's be honest, a million of us, that's a lot of people, a million of us during the Great Potato Famine headed in all directions. and we brought a lot of
Yes.
stuff with us. Not just that, but like if you went really digging, you'd find that Ireland is essentially Mecca/ground zero for all things spooky and supernatural. Like
I mean, it literally is. There's no maybe about it. We invented Halloween, Tom.
we
By and
invented
large,
Halloween. Let's
as far as I'm aware.
we did. No, we did. Like there's like you go back into the real druidy things, like Christmas. Jesus' birthday was actually in July sometime, but it was actually moved as a result of paganism in
Yeah,
Ireland.
no, yeah, not wanting to fuck with the fairy folk.
Do you know? So they were like, "No, look, we'll just have the big celebration when you have it. So don't worry, we'll just move it around for you."
So
Um,
okay. So Piseogs, Tom, curses. I can cast a Piseog on you by leaving something gross like fucking all smushed up, like old rotten steaks and whatnot, and leaving them on it. And do I have any blowback from that? Do I owe anyone a debt? If I cast a Piseog on you and your crops fail, am I on the lam to somebody now?
no, if you've done it off your own back, then you're okay. Like that's you. That's on you. I mean, you're just a rotten to the core bad bastard for doing it. But if you have made a pact with the fairies, there didn't seem to be anything hard and fast as to what they wanted. But um, if they wanted it, they were taking it. Do you know what I mean? So it was open season. They wanted your property in any way. They wanted gold. They wanted money. They were
They
taking
wanted
it.
like your second born child or some shit.
Exactly. That and they could be as malevolent as they want it. You cross them, you're done. So it was real Tony Soprano stuff. Like so, if you
I was
had
just going to
brought them
say,
in,
it sounds
yeah,
real organized crime. That if you get, listen, I need I need a competitor's grocery shop smashed up,
yeah.
and they'll come and smash it up, but then all of a sudden I'm asked to hide a gun or some shit.
Well, you remember at the wedding in The Godfather,
Yeah, you
and you
couldn't
remember
refuse. Yeah,
he came in. And he's like, these guys, they were they hurt my daughter. He's like, why didn't you come to me before now? You see, the guy tried to sort it out off his own back,
right. Yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah,
work,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
didn't work. So now he's in with Don Corleone, and he says, look, for this we will do this for you, but I will call on you at another time. I won't tell you
Yes,
what it is yet.
that
I don't
always
fucking
freaked me
know what
out.
it is yet,
Yeah,
but we'll call on you. And that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially what the fairy folk would do. So I can't, I can't, I can't confirm what it is that come. I've never incanted. I've never brought these boys on board before. Never looked for their
Really?
services.
Because I've had a fucking slew of bad luck lately, Tom, and it can only be, explained by this exact thing you're talking about.
And listen, I don't know. Like
You
you
pishog
obviously,
me, I'll pishog you, so I will.
well, I'm telling you now. Just keep an eye on your wheelie bins because. So look at strap in. We are going to
All
go.
right,
We're
go
going to go
hit me.
heavy through a lash of these, and we'll give our own kind of take on it. And I would love before we kick into it, if we've missed any, if you're living in fucking Leitrim, if you're living in West Waterford, and you are going, oh Jesus Christ, should we have one below here? I'd love. It'd be class to hear it. Like so.
Yes.
Feel free to leave a voice note on the fucking on the Tom and Jerry Instagram page. If tweet us, whatever you gotta do, let us know. Because I guarantee, as soon as I started asking people about this, they were like, "Oh yeah," because I mean, there's the black cat stuff, and that's a lot of these things. A lot of these things, I mean, have originated here. Because I mean, it wasn't so much the people were putting it down. Oh well, it was the jackboot of the church at the time. I think a lot of these when to go really far back, really far back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You'd be
So
you'd be surprised what predates Christianity in this country, Tom. I'll tell you that much.
exactly like Christy Moore, he's been around that long. You know, did his first gig at fucking Newgrange, right? So
Hit me.
kicking it off, May Eve, like I said, you know what I mean. It's the Indy 500 for Malevolent carrying on. So if you, like I said, if you found an egg or eggs or randomly a bin old knob of meat of some sort rotting on your property that really shouldn't be there, you're kind of fucked. Some bad bastard has it in for you.
Thanks for coming.
Or a one around here, and I believe you've heard of it too, because we talked about this before, is a specifically tied together bundle of small sticks with a black ribbon.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And that is actually, and for any soft-eared people here, this is officially what it's called. It's called a faggot of sticks.
Yes.
And it's tied together. And if you find that May morning anywhere on your property with a black ribbon tied around it, which if I could look through the side of my office right now, that field next door, there was 4 of them found, one in each corner of it. Yeah, the old man almost bought that field and didn't as a result of that.
This is the power of the Piseog, Tom. I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Rotten egg, bird could have dropped it, I
Yeah,
suppose. Hunk of meat, bird could have dropped it. Birds drop shit all the time, right?
yeah.
But a very specifically tied together bundle of sticks with a
Mm-hmm.
piece of black ribbon is clearly something that somebody has done. There's neither left nor right of it. And if I find that anywhere on my property, I'm moving house. Fuck it. Go on. The bank can take it.
Oh yeah. Oh God Almighty, yeah. And so I was just I remember asking, I says, "Is that a thing, or did I imagine it?" And no, the old man went, "Yeah." I was looking to buy that old field, and it was a bad old. It still is a bad old fucking field, wet as fuck. It was going to take a ton of draining, and we don't know. We don't know. It wouldn't have seemed it was the owner at the time, even though he wasn't the merriest chap you'd ever meet. He was up for selling it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And we don't fully know who owns it now. So, and nothing has been done with it. The odd old fucking horse would show up in it. But like, if you looked in there, it would, like, if you had a bit of a smoke machine, Gerry, and set it going on an early morning, and you would just wanted to get an establishing shot for, say, a creepy start
Here's the thing.
Of a fucking horror movie, that's what that field looks like. It's all rushes and shit. He was well rid of the fucking thing. He would have broken his fucking heart anyway.
I sincerely hope this clears up some questions as to why there's a housing crisis in this country at the moment. There's some fields you just don't fucking build on, and it's because of shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna buy that field and I'm gonna put a load of houses on it and I'm gonna develop the land, and then some neighbor's like, no, you're fucking not, and throws a Piseog of sticks onto it, and you're like, okay, fuck yeah, leave it be.
And here's the thing, and we'll get around to one that we discussed in a couple more that ties into the same thing. But I can tell you here and now, most digger men who are the first people into the site, if you want, go back and listen to Tom and Gerry Build a House.
Yes.
People keep on asking me, and I need to put up the transcript somewhere, Gerry. I don't know where I would put it up. Where could I put that up? I don't know. I have the entire transcript. People have asked me for it. Some people have written it down by hand as they've gone back and forth, and I feel terrible because I have the thing written out for people, but I will put that up somewhere. If I could put a document to Twitter, I will. Or we'll just
give it away, Tom. Put on fucking Patreon or something.
Okay, all right.
Get some money out of these guys.
But digger men are the first people in, and I can tell you here now, you can say what you want. You go, well, he's not a degree educated. You go, that's the motherfucker that's making more money than fucking a surgeon right now. So he's as smart as I fucking need him to be. He tracks that machine in there day one. He finds a bundle of sticks. He's going back up onto the fucking low loader with that track machine. He's going, glick and tangs. I ain't touching it, because it's better. If you've got €100,000 machine, it's better not to risk it, because you got to work somewhere else. It's better not to risk it.
And some people will say it's a load of superstitious nonsense. Drive your digger onto it. Hey, you drive your fucking digger onto it.
Yeah. Oh, self-iron, to go do it yourself. Go do it yourself, because vibes are the big thing now, man. You know, devoid of religion, and vibes are the big thing. Like, if you lived in London or LA right now, it's all about vibes, man. Well, who's to say that isn't?
I'm going to tell you a thing, like, Tom, vibes stick for a long fucking time.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah.
You ever stood in Auschwitz? I'll tell you one thing. You'll feel fucking vibes there, and you need never have known the horrors that went on. You just know it's just not a good fucking place. But it is the same thing, I believe, anyway. You just ain't getting your job done. If you find a bundle of sticks inside that gate, forget about it. Forget about it.
Moving on, Tom.
Moving on. Some of these aren't, like I said, a lot of these are bad luck. Some are good luck. Some of these aren't as dark as all that. But I wanted to get the dark stuff out of the way.
Sure.
Here's the thing. Something you wouldn't often see. Number 2, something you wouldn't often see. But if you do, I'd say go back to bed by all accounts, it's not a good day if first thing in the morning
Yes.
you meet a whistling woman.
A whistling woman.
Yeah, you don't often meet a whistling woman. Not a lot of women
No.
tend to whistle. My wife can't whistle, to her shame. She wishes she could. Um,
I don't
like,
think I've ever.
have you heard your wife whistle?
I don't think I've ever heard a woman whistle.
I don't think I have either. Maybe on television, some folk band, some Polish folk band or something like Yotzi, 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 or something to that,
That's it. That's okay. So if I made a woman whistling,
any
okay,
tune.
so whistling a tune, or not just whistling for her dog or some such, because I might have heard that. All right, like
I bet you haven't.
I no, really
I
haven't. No,
really
I'm
want to put
racking
this
my
one out to the
brain. I really
listeners.
haven't.
If
Yeah, yeah.
for the female listeners or anybody who has a woman in their life, if you know of a whistling woman, please let us know because I cannot fucking think of one. I asked my mother if
Yes,
she can whistle. I said I can. She goes,
but
"Why
she
you ask?
wouldn't.
Why you asking?" I said, "Well, apparently." She goes, "A whistling woman is bad luck in the morning." I went, "Yeah." She went, "There you go then. I can whistle.
Okay,
I can whistle."
yeah, okay, I can see that.
And that's where Mary
You know,
O'Mahony left it. She
she
did
just
not.
left it at that.
She left it at that. I
Is
can
it
whistle.
that one? Tom falls into the. I would be less inclined to be perturbed by a whistling woman in the morning, but like because she's not just walking around whistling to hex people. She's not like I'm just going to walk up and down the Ongar
No,
distributor
and
road whistling and fucking hexing fools.
we can only speculate where the origins of it happened. Maybe somebody walked into a manhole while we're looking at perplexed at a woman swimming or whistling, I should say, and from then on it was a bad luck thing. If like I don't get what there was nobody broke it down. There didn't seem to be any breakdown. It was just like, yeah, whistling woman, suck it. I'm like, okay, right. But I just
But
found it interesting. It was
men can whistle all they want.
all they want, all they
Tell
want.
you, man,
A
there's that
few.
fucking patriarchy at work, isn't it?
I'll be honest. There's a few are a bit hard on women. It's a bit bit hard on women. Not. I mean, nothing happens to the women as a result, but it's like
No, it seems to be that it's us poor men that are just out going about our day to day business, and we land around some lady whistling.
poor, great men minding their own business, and
Mind their own
just
business.
these
Some
these women
lassies
show up.
fucking whistling a Taylor Swift tune on our headphones, and then all of a sudden my day's ruined. Fuck that.
This is it. This is it. Shoes on the table, Gerry.
Shoes on a table is a thing, Tom.
You've
I will
heard
give you
that.
that. Yeah.
You've heard that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shoes on a
I
table.
always like. Here's the thing, Tom. I always heard that shoes on a table, as Piseogs go, shoes on a table was you don't put new shoes on a table. As in to
Yeah.
say, if you go in, you buy shoes and they're in a box, you don't put that box on a table. But then it was like you don't put shoes that you have worn on the table. I guess that's just more of a cleanliness thing that you've been walking and standing dog shit. You don't put it on the table.
I would imagine so, but I would say that's exactly where it comes from. To the point, maybe when they didn't understand germ. We only understand germs this in relative recent times.
I
I mean,
reckon that's. I can put that one down to like a mother in olden days or whatnot, and the kids are putting, the one pair of shoes between 12 kids. They're just putting it on the table, and she's like, "How will I get these fucking kids to not put these shitty blight covered shoes on the fucking table?" All right, I'll just tell them that the fairies are going to take them away because they don't like shoes on the table. I suppose.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, because for the most part, people made it when I was reading all of these ones. It came up a few times, and it seemed to be like they were giving you an example of new shoes on the table. So they were giving you a scenario. They were like, so when you get new shoes and you put them on the table, I'm like, I don't know that at all. Why you make? But it would seem to be that would be the only reason you would ever put shoes on the fucking table. But I do think it's most likely the used shoes, dirty shoes thing.
Yeah.
You still won't find me putting fucking new shoes
No,
or old shoes on the table, Jar.
and it's not like I purposely okay, now I'm going to put these shoes on a table and inspect them or anything like that. You come in from the shops with like your shopping bags and you plunk them on the table, and if they contain shoes or carrots or fucking, Gaviscon, it's going on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Listen, a lot of these things
three
are
essential purchases.
a lot of these things won't feature an awful lot in your life, but some of them do, right?
If you can avoid it, avoid it. It's that simple.
Throwing water out the door, right?
Okay,
Do you ever fuck water out the door for one reason or another? Yes, you have at some stage.
Within an hour of talking to you, Tom. Yes.
Well, would you mind next time you do it, just let a little shout out, because most likely, if there is a fairy anywhere near around your house, it's going to be by a doorway. You're gonna douse that poor little whore with water.
He's
Yeah,
not going to take well to that, is it?
you're not gonna have a good day the following day. You're gonna
Okay, Tom.
sleep like fucking terrible. You're gonna have brutal dreams. Look, he ain't gonna do you in. Like he's not cutting the brakes on your fucking Citroen. But what I'm saying is that most likely you're gonna stub your toe. There's gonna be a bill show up that you weren't expecting. That sort of shit. Do you know what I mean? So just little, hey, just before you throw it out.
Okay, we should probably take a second here, Tom, to talk about these wee folk.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you say fairy,
yeah,
I know what you mean, and I know that you don't mean Tinkerbell. I know
yeah.
you don't mean like a little princess-looking, uh, fairy wings, little sequined, dress.
Ballerina. Yeah,
Right,
flying
like a
ballerina.
flying ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, right?
No, that's the Disney version of
Yes.
the very powerful folk that are known to have lived here for millennia here in Ireland.
Yes.
We're living in their spot. This is the thing.
Yeah.
We're living in their spot. They were here long before
And
we
they'll be here
crossed the land
long
bridge.
fucking after, Tom, I'll tell you
Whatever,
that much.
wherever we came up out of North Africa, or across from the Caucasus, wherever we did, or came down from the fucking wherever they believed we came from, those folks were here long before
And
us.
we're talking more like spirits, like they're not creatures, are they? Do they have
Yeah.
arms?
Oh, yeah, they do. Like, I mean,
Are they little people or
by all accounts, they're little people. They're about waist height, about the size of a 3 year old. But they can appear or disappear. They can slip between realms. They can. They're what's the what is it, transcendental or whatever? That might be something to do with your teeth. But they can shift basically faster than basically through dimensions and through time to a degree.
once again, I want to stress for the listeners, I believe all this.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
every word
I'm
of it.
having every bit of
Yep.
it. Because I especially am, because I'm back living in the countryside where these fellas tend to dwell. Not saying that they don't dwell in inside the Greater Pale, because they were again there long before
Yes.
Dublin
And
became fucking Dublin.
all anybody tells me about the area that I currently live in is that they remember it when it was all fields.
Yeah, yeah. Possibly a couple of ring forts somewhere around.
So that's within living memory. And I doubt Fingal County Council worried too much about fucking clearing forts in a good manner.
Keeping it liquidy, Gerry. Keeping it liquidy. So you know the way I
Yes.
used to even do a bit about being so country that I still can't help, even when I lived in Inchicore, to throw out that last drop of tea.
Fuck that last drop of tea, Tom.
That isn't for me.
Oh, you're
You know,
throwing out tea for the wee boys.
this is the thing. It's out of,
Interesting.
yeah. So
Well,
you see,
how come I'm not throwing them out a nice, refreshing drink from the dog's bowl?
I think it's more of a respect thing than anything else, that you're not just going to be an absolute glutton and wolf the lot down in front of him without offering him a cup of tea or offering him anything. I think it's to show that, listen, I ain't going to have it all. So it's maybe it is like pouring a little out of your 40 for your homies,
Or a
piece of
sip on
love.
the concrete.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe it is a little of that, but I think the idea is that you're not a complete fucking glutton, because they're not fond of humans, and especially what we're turning into of late. Like, I mean, we're
Of
going,
course.
you know what I mean? We're completely out of sync with nature. They're completely in sync with nature. And I think the tea thing, I don't know what it is, but
I'll be honest with you, Tom. I always thought with tea, it was like the last bit of tea has like tea. I always call it like tea sand.
well, tea leaves used to be a thing, and it's still,
Well,
you can,
even with tea bags, you still get like tea
you get the grainy
grit.
shit. But like, I
Yeah.
mean, if you go into like, well, now if you go into like fancy places like Fallon and Burn, you'll get tea leaves if you want,
Yes.
and
I
you'll be
won't.
spitting fleas for the next half your tea is fucking gone.
Well, even the
But
bottom of a cup of coffee, it's got like coffee
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's got
silt.
silt
Yeah.
at the bottom. Yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah.
fuck that out. They're welcome to that.
I listen. I'm just reading what I'm reading. This is apparently to show that we ain't gluttons, and we don't
Oh,
have to finish all of it in front of them.
okay.
Tone it down a bit is what they're saying. Not, I don't know. Do you have to spit out the last bit of fucking Toblerone? I don't know. Are you supposed to do that too? But
Well, they can get like I'll tell you what they can get, Tom. When I get out of a car, they can get all the wee bits of sausage roll I was eating, right? They can get, there you go,
as it
lads.
snows,
It's going to
fucking
snow bits of sausage roll down on
flaky
top of them.
pastry. Yeah,
Oh, nuts,
yeah, yeah.
lads.
Well, sticking with tea, Gerry.
Oh,
What hand are you? You
I'm
left or
right-handed.
right?
I'm right-handed.
Imagine you're stirring in a cup of tea. Somebody wants sugar. I don't know,
Yes.
you're a sugar man, but
Uh,
somebody wants sugar. You want to stir it in. Even you stir in your milk. Oh, way you stir it.
I stir it anti-clockwise with my right hand.
Fuck.
Is that bad?
Very bad.
How come?
Very bad.
Yeah, anti-clockwise with my right hand.
Yeah. Naturally, it's not
Is
supposed to
that
go
why
that way. Yeah.
you're about to say this is why I am the way I am, Tom? Is
This
it?
is how you are, the way you are. You know, all those bad luck stories, everybody who's been with us that long time through this, the 7 series
Yeah,
of Tom and
this
Jerry
is
show,
it. How I
how many
start my tea.
shitty things have started McBride's day terribly, and his day has just gone
And
from
this is
fucking
it.
bad to
How sure?
worse.
Okay. So I don't want to go all BuzzFeed here, Tom, but so you've been stirring your tea wrong all this time. Here's what you should be doing:
Stir it clockwise. Stir it
stir it
clockwise.
clockwise.
There's a reason why the clock goes that way. There's a reason why the toilet goes that way. There's a reason why, I don't know. There's a reason for it. Anti-clockwise. I mean, why you gotta. I
I
remember.
did
I
not
can
know the
remember
fairies
being.
use clocks, Tom. I
I
thought they
remember.
used like sundials and shit.
I remember being corrected,
What?
corrected on stirring anti-clockwise tea, and I cannot I cannot for the life of me remember who. This may not be a fairy folk thing; it may be a devil thing, because the left-handed the Kitog and all the rest of the left-handed the devil and everything else. I don't know, but I remember being corrected because I actually was coming on being left-handed because I eat the wrong way around with the fork and knife still.
Okay.
But it was just kind of corrected out of me. But I find myself still doing the odd thing with the left hand. But I think it is a lefty-handy devil thing. I think so. That
And is it just tea, Tom, or is it all swirlable liquids?
so all swirlable liquids.
All
Any
right, so
any.
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a nice spirit in your hand there at the end of the night. You've a half one in your hand, right? Whiskey or brandy or whatever your tipple is, right?
Yeah,
You swirl it before you drink it, Tom. How do you swirl that?
yeah. Swirl it anti-clockwise. Now that you
Swirl it
said it, yeah,
anti-clockwise. So
yeah.
you're fucked too, pal.
Well, listen, it's already called Ishkabaha, so it is evil water anyway. So, should I be drinking it? Probably not. I've already shaken hands with himself, the devil, if that's the case. So,
Interesting.
um,
Okay, so anybody within the sound of our voices that drinks liquids, it doesn't sound like it's a fucking great day for you, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. You remember back when you lived in the country, Jerry? You remember you lived back in the country, or
I
you
do.
have a tip back up the road, and sometimes, not saying you pop outside for a fag, but maybe sometimes you just want to step outside and actually see the stars again. You take a deep old breath. You're standing there enjoying yourself. Maybe it's around, I don't know, early spring, and all of a sudden you hear the most blood-curdling scream come across the fields from you,
I
and it'll
have heard that once or twice, Tom, yes.
yeah, yeah. Well, said to be the banshee screaming. And that is essentially now, I mean, it's broad to say that someone is going to die because quite literally, as we're speaking, probably 4 people have died. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is it, people are dying continuously, same way people are being born continuously. I don't know. I didn't get there was some argument to say somebody, related to you is going to die, somebody fucking nearby is going to die. So within an earshot of it, apparently somebody is going to die within the sound of the banshee screaming. That blood curdling shit. I put it up on my Instagram maybe about 3 months ago. And of all people, our very good friend Jim Elliott, who's
Oh, yes.
very, very city and very, very from Washington,
Very
D.C.,
American, yes.
um, nearly pissed his pants. He went, "What in all fuck is that sound? That is not, that's not of this earth." I went, "It's not, Jim." So I led him down the path. I said,
Yeah.
"Well, I mean, arguments would say that it is the banshee." Um, as more of a person who's probably in touch with nature than most people, it's most likely a Randy Vixen. That's the reality
Well,
of it.
yeah, I mean, I had always put it down, Tom, because I've been listening out for the Banshee since I was 5 years of age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been listening out to the Banshee since I fucking learned what the phrase was.
Hmm.
And I was very susceptible to Banshees because they haunt O's and Max. For example,
This is
O'Mahony's
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
McBride's. So we're
That
it's in our genes.
I only spoke to the lads from Monster Fuzz podcast last week, and they said exactly the same thing. Max and O's. get an awful
Yeah.
fucking time. And the
Getting
way
an
he kind
awful
of
tune out
described it
of
to me
it.
was that she was quite sexy and she was gonna. I was like, okay, I never thought of the banshees being hot, but that's changed the whole perspective now. Um,
Yeah, I mean, a banshee can be very hot, or she can be a hag. There doesn't appear to be like a middle ground.
there's no,
You know,
there's just
there's
not an
no,
office friend looking banshee.
no,
Like no.
there's what you don't get with a banshee is like a seven.
Oh hey, so you guys
You
watch Love
know,
Island? Like no
pennies
banshee,
on.
I don't.
No.
Hey,
But here's the thing, Tom. I was always told that you need to listen out for a banshee crying and weeping and keening,
keening.
right?
Now I'm
That
going.
so the
Yes.
screams. I was like, nah, man, that's a fox getting rid. It's it's not a banshee. A banshee is more like a moan or a wail or a cry or a weep or a keen.
Now I'm going to tie in the keen thing and my hypothesis, my supernatural hypothesis with this, and this is one that I'd heard. I've asked a few people now, and they'd never heard of this one. I'm actually jumping too because I didn't realize I should have had this one alongside it. It's brilliant that you said keening. So that's kind of
What?
that's that wailing over and back. Like you'll see some, the you'll see funerals, traditional
Yes.
looking funerals. Not so much here anymore. People tend to stay
No.
a bit stoic, but you see the people from more emotionally driven countries where horrific things have happened. You'll see mothers by the coffin and they're keening. Well, a chap back the road. By the way, his name was Darby. How great of a name is that?
Well,
Yeah,
fucking hell.
yeah. His first name was Darby, and this woman had died
Yes.
uh, the day before. And the plan was they were all, or a day or two before, and the plan was to all go to her funeral. They were going to get the horse and cart and head down to the village to the funeral. They lived up a long laneway, and he walked down for whatever reason. He had to walk down. He heard what he can only describe as the banshee's wailing coming from the bottom of the
Yes.
the boreen, as it is called, but it is their driveway technically. He walked down only to see the dead woman keening and squealing like no human could ever wail, back and forth, up and back and forth, up on the ditch, in fucking hysterics. The woman could not be consoled because she was also dead. He pegged it back.
Right.
He pegged it back up the road for all he was worth. He says, "Good God Almighty, the woman was out of the house. His wife was out of the house." He says, "Why aren't you wearing something of hers?" She said, "What? Oh God, I forgot all about it." He says, "Well, do it quick. She's at the bottom of the road, keening. She's wailing." And his wife ran back in. They had known about this. This is a thing you were to do, was to wear an item of the clothing of the dead person to the funeral to stay on somebody in the living, and that would allow them to pass over to the other side. Had you not done that, you buried her. She would stay in limbo forever, i.e., no man's land, i.e., purgatory, perhaps, or that weird, where the shutter flies up in Beetlejuice, those souls that have,
Yes.
that was where she was going to stay
So
forever.
that's an interesting spin on it, Tom, that the actual corpse was the banshee in
Yes,
this
yeah.
instance. That's, Smokey and the Bandit 3. Smokey is the bandit. Like
Yeah.
that's it's an interesting take on the subject. Yeah, so that's about the most horrific shit I've ever heard, Tom.
I did some deep digging on this, Gerry. I did some
Jesus
deep digging
Christ.
for you,
I
right?
always thought I was done with all the ways in which a banshee could terrify me, but here we are finding new ones. What can I say?
So a knock at the door, Ger. Now we said if you open the back to let the fairy out, it'd be a good luck. But here's the thing: you open the door at night, nobody there, someone's gonna die. That's Jesus. I know.
Yeah,
It's
I
rough.
mean, it's not like if you hear a knock at the door and you open it and there's no one there, then like you're going to have a cheap gas bill this month. You know what I mean?
No, no, it's something like most likely death in the family. Maybe immediate, distant. I don't know. There was nothing specific. Jesus Christ. Also, how big is your family? You
Yeah, and how
know,
long is this? Like, if you hear a knock at your door, you're going to hear about a death in the next week, the next calendar year. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
listen, I honestly think people like to create cliffhangers for themselves back in the day when there was no fucking telly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's There's just some of this shit is like, oh lads, like there's some I'm kind of going, okay, all right, Jesus Christ. A lot of this is like,
Yeah.
just this go like the whistling.
This is like fucking your man in the Mummy Returns. You know what I mean? This is cursed. That is cursed. This is cursed.
Now here's the last. I'm gonna start getting. We're gonna start getting into some a bit lighter, a bit more fun ones. But this is the one that ties back in. The very first one we talked about, finding the bundle of sticks. This one ties back in with the same sort of men that would come upon the that maybe while the housing crisis is where it is in the country, because you sure as shit. And this is how our first chat came about of this when we were doing last year, when we wrapped up last year's. Never cut a lone hawthorn or blackthorn tree in a field. By lone, we mean that it can't see another one.
Yes.
I ain't fucking cutting nothing anyway.
I'm not cutting shit.
I may copse them a little bit to tidy them up if they need it. But I'll be honest with you, the new place we're after buying, there's one sitting right by the side, and Natasha was like, "That's beautiful. Should we leave it?" I went, "Oh Jesus Christ! I'll knock the fucking house before I'll knock that."
Yeah.
Are you joking me? And you want to even see the way it looks there? It's picture perfect. Thank God it isn't some gnarly, ugly heap of shit. But it literally looks like celebrations are made around this thing at one point. Like, and there is a castle on the right adjacent to the property where that kind of shit would have fucking gone down big. I cannot tell you the amount of golf courses, the amount of properties that we could have built when I was back in the building game that had to be drastically changed as a result by the because the architects were just drawn on the surveyed. They'd just get a drawing of the surveyed land showing the contours. Nothing too big to worry about. Bushel of trees over here. Knock that shit. We'll put 27 houses in there. Collection of fucking round things over here. Knock that shit. We're going fucking building. Rake more houses in here. 'Tis until you get the digger man to sight. And I can tell you here now, once he sees one of them things, he's like, fuck that. Ching, 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 ching. His little tracks just start going in the other direction, because I've had young digger drivers have said, not a fucking hope. I've had old digger drivers say, not a fucking hope. Because those are the guys, you can't build shit without those guys. Yeah. Or women.
And they're the boys that have to knock it. It's coming home with them.
Yeah, because the amount, like, early doors in a guy's career, he told me, he says, Tom, I knocked 3 of those in my entire career. He said, and I'll tell you now, this wasn't some long fucking 6 months later, I lost a toe bullshit. This was literally while braking, while knocking it down, or while the day was finishing up, something happened to the fucking machine. I pissed fucking oil everywhere. I lost the fucking track, blew the fucking engine. I hit a fucking electrical cable that wasn't supposed to be there. Like, nasty shit has happened. And every fella I've talked to, and I've talked to lots and lots of fucking these guys. I mean, lots. These are the most frequent guys I would have talked to when I was working the buildings, and they would not fucking touch them. Golf courses. I mean, we had a Nick Faldo designed one. Faldo landed down the chopper, fucking raging, and he was like, I'll fucking do it myself. And they were like, well, you can go get your own fucking machine, Mr. Faldo. He went, all right, then we're not doing it then. Okay.
I gotta tell you, Tom, like, I'm not a religious man, and I'm not really, at the back of it all, I'm not really a superstitious man, and I'm not, overly cautious with my health or my money.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything, to be perfectly honest with you.
He's not people. He's not even joking. He doesn't even lock his car in Dublin. Like, he's
It's just a foolish man in many, many ways. If you were to turn around and tell me, I'll give you 10 grand to walk over to that lone bush and snap a twig off it, I'm not doing that shit, Tom.
Nope.
I'm not fucking with a lone bush. You want to get a twig off that bush, you get it your good self. And I'm not alone. Tom, you talk about fields with lone bushes on it, and I wish to God I knew where this was. I think it's down in Wicklow in the sort of Curracloe Beach area, because we met it a couple of times, and I think it was when we were down there on holidays. There's like a T-junction in the road. And if you could imagine a T-junction, cars can drive to the left, cars can drive to the right, and right in the middle of the road, there's a bush.
Yeah.
There's a tree. If that rings a bell with someone listening here,
yes, I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. Yeah.
It could be driving down to a gig you brought me down to, Tom, down your way, but I definitely drove down that road and there's a fucking tree in the middle of the road. Driving down the road, my wife said to me, "Why the fuck did they put a bush there?" And I goes, "They didn't put a bush there. They put a road around a bush that was already there."
Well, here's the thing. Even if you did put a bush, like it would seem some fellas are still like the parents here have willows, right? They've got a bunch of willows. They're as old as the house. They're 40 years old. The the old lad was getting a rake of fucking trees dropped. They were at dangerous levels. Like there's fucking trees everywhere here. He
Yeah,
was getting 4 or 5 of these trees dropped by these right handy fellas. And the older guy of the two went, "Do you want that willow out of it here too?" And he was like, "Literally, the fucking house is named after this." No, I don't want that fucking thing. And the younger guy who was doing all the sawing went, "I ain't cutting that fucking thing anyway."
yeah,
And your man was double. The old lad was like, "Huh? Sure, if I wanted it gone, would you not?" He says, "Oh no, a fucking willow tree, not a fucking prayer. No, no, no. He's the
yeah.
fucking thing." He said, "Willows are magical, so I ain't touching it." And no, in all
There's
fairness, nobody took the piss out of him. They went, "All right, that's the guy with the saw."
See, this
So
is it. It's not just it's not just a lone bush in the middle of the field of a field. And I'll show you a picture of a lone bush, Tom, like that is like clear blue sky either side of it, 10 acres stretching far in the distance
yeah,
either side of it, and just this one lone fucking tree right in the goddamn middle of it. That you'd pull it just for the fucking look of it,
yeah.
right? It's like, do you ever get like I don't know if it's you or if it's just me, Tom. Do you ever get like one bad bastard of a black hair that'll grow out of your shoulder? Just like,
I get one recurring like every 6 months out the end of my nose for some unknown fucking
do you know
reason.
what I mean? Just
Yeah,
this one random fucking hair that grows out of somewhere. You're like, pull that thing to fuck.
it's got to go.
Uh, it's got to go. So you think, okay, I the lone trees, I'll leave them be. Hey, Tom, maybe it's just every now and then a specific tree in the mix of other trees that
Hmm.
you're not supposed to cut down. And I know, I've known since I was 5 years of age what happens when you pull down a lone bush or you cut down the wrong tree, Tom. And you know what it is? You know what I was threatened with? And
Yeah.
you know the story I heard and it fucking spooked me to this day? Thorns in your bed, Tom. Thorns in your
Yes.
bed.
Yes. Yeah. 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 That's why it's the hawthorn or the blackthorn
The
tree.
hawthorn,
I
the
do know.
blackthorn.
I know a guy, and I think he's come up on the podcast here before. I only met his son the other day, um, and he's come up on the podcast definitely at some point because rock hard bastard, one of the nicest fellas you'd ever meet. He was cutting through a hedge. He was cut a hole through a hedge for a big sheep farmer, and it was a hawthorn, a blackthorn bush, not really a proper tree, just a fucking
Yeah.
gnarly old knot of a thing. And he got a prick of it in the finger. Didn't look after it. Big fucking handed man. Probably has been bitten a million times by a million things. Didn't get it looked after. Within a week, he lost that finger.
Yeah.
Gone. Doc went to the doc, said, "This fucking thing is throbbing." And he goes, "Yeah, good thing you're in, because septicemia was about to kick in.
That's
We got to
sepsis,
take
yeah.
the finger." He's like, "Fuck off. I've never been like this man's hands. You know, the hands that most people listening won't have ever seen these hands, but
No.
because they don't exist in most society. But the kind of hands that you'll have only seen maybe 5 times in your life, those hands that literally, I don't give a fuck if you're the hardest Bruce Lee, I'm old, fucking Muhammad Ali, fucking. It doesn't matter if these things land on your neck. Good night. Like this guy's not doing calisthenics, but if he went into the UFC and from a starting point they went, okay, hands around each other's neck and see who wins. You're dead in 4 seconds
Yeah,
because
these
these
but yeah,
paws they're like they're driven by hydraulics. Like they're
yeah,
just
they use gravel as moisturizer.
there's there's so little to our hands in comparison to these hands. It's like they're actually wearing gloves. They're just like
Yeah.
those giant fat hands. And he lost. He could not fucking the tiniest little pick of this thing.
Yeah.
Like a fucking snake bite, finger gone.
This is
So
what it is. Like, if you did not plant that tree, Tom, leave it the fuck alone.
there
Okay?
you go.
Simple as that. My old man, I honestly believe it was like his retirement fund or his old age fund that he planted a load of trees in the 80s, and then
Yeah.
when he crested 70, he's just started chopping them all down. Like it honestly looks like he couldn't have planned it better. Like, plant them all, let them grow, then clear them all out.
Yeah, because what has he got
Well, he's
right
not
now as
just
a
chopping
result?
down. He's not chopping down random trees that he, you know.
They're his fucking trees. He's
He knows
allowed.
them. He put them there. He can take them out. That's no problem. But if it's some other random tree that was there already, or he doesn't know where it was,
It
wasn't
may stay.
planted as a border boundary or anything like that. Fuck it, I think it'd stay there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So
Yes.
that is your heart has probably been darkened throughout the last Jesus nearly hour of the podcast. I'm about to brighten it with we're gonna rip through the last bunch of these, and they're a bit more lighter
I
in
could do with
touch.
a bit of fucking good news, Tom.
Yeah, like look, they're a bit on the lighter side of things. It's just in case people hadn't heard these. Some of them they will have, some of them they won't have. But there's a couple of fun ones in here. So you know the one with the itchy nose means impending fight. Um, so if you do get an itchy nose, there's a fight coming. But the
Yeah.
way to disarm this is to just actually initiate a little punch in the shoulder, or ask your friend to initiate a little punch in the shoulder that cancels it out. So you're, I've got an
Right.
itchy nose, give me a punch, give me a punch. And it's just a little tap in the shoulder, bang, done.
Bang bang.
Bang,
Done.
bang. So now you've absolutely, you've taken out that missile in the sky.
Yes.
Um,
These are your little sort of iron domes.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, there's a couple of bad luck ones in here, but ones that kind of make me smile a little bit
Oh, yeah.
for the sake of it. If a weasel stands up straight on its back legs and stares directly at you,
Yes.
bad luck.
Well, of course it fucking is, Tom. If a fucking weasel rears back and goes all King Cobra on you and fucking looks you dead in the eye, I'll be like, number one, okay, hello, the first weasel I've ever seen in my life. I don't believe I've ever seen a
I've
weasel,
never
otter,
seen a weasel.
stoat, mink, ermine,
We
fucking
pine martens are also back around the place
pine
again.
marten.
Yeah,
I've seen none of these little fuckers. I've seen 5 squirrels in my life, Tom.
I got squared up to by the first proper red squirrel I ever saw, but that was in Boston, and this thing had it was a Boston. Like everybody
Yeah,
wants to fight you in
it
Boston,
had
so I
evil
wasn't
intent.
surprised. Yeah, I wasn't
It's a
surprised when I saw
Southie
it.
piece of trash.
Blackberries, you love a wild blackberry, Gerry, do you?
I will take a wild blackberry if there's one
Well,
going
don't
on.
you dare eat one after September 29th, which is St. Michaelmas's Day, because if you start scoffing them into October after that, the devil will have pissed all over him.
Well, okay, but that stands to reason that you don't eat unripe blackberries,
Oh no, they'll
or
have gone. No,
gone past ripe.
they'll have gone past it by this stage.
Yeah.
Note to self: if it's anything like the wild raspberries around here, I don't know what's happened this year, but the birds are cunts. Normally there was a plethora of them to be had. There'd be jams galore being made over to mother's house. Not a fucking, not so much as they didn't even leave a note. There's the fuckers. Oh, well, I mean, I do believe it's the Irish woodpecker that has shown up, who's believed to be extinct here in Ireland. But the Irish woodpecker has shown up, a family of them. But I do think the cunt is going around chomping all the raspberries. But anyway, that aside, September 29th, put it in the calendar, people. I'm telling you right now, that is St. Michaelmas's Day. There's a few things happen on St. Michaelmas's Day. I think this harps back to harvesty time stuff
I reckon,
and all the
yeah,
rest of it. You're to have
I
it
reckon
wrapped.
it was,
You
yeah,
have to
I
have
reckon it was
your
bad day, yeah, before it was St. Michaelmas Day.
yeah, have your burying wrapped up at that stage, because there's you bringing in wheat, barley, all the stuff at that stage. Have your fucking stuff done by that stage, because you're hunkering down for the winter.
Gotcha.
Have your shit done. But just to let you know, if you do eat it into October and you find a couple of ones because of global warming and whatnot that they've progressed into October, can't touch them. The devil has pissed on them. If that's your thing, go for it. That's all I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
mean, like, is like, you say the devil is pissed on them, Tom, and I'm here like, that's bad, right?
That's
Like,
what I mean. You're
I
probably
mean, it's
into
not
it.
like it's not a
Jerry's
little.
a little freaky. What can I say? He's getting a
I
little
don't know.
freaky.
Maybe it's like that coffee, the coffee beans that like the monkeys eat.
Oh, the
and shit it
macaques,
out.
yeah, shit out, yeah, and people are into that, yeah,
People are
yeah,
mad into it.
scat coffee, yeah, yeah. If that's
That's
your
not
thing,
this.
that's not this.
So it's not artisanal devil piss berries.
I think we
Or
just
are we
invented.
missing? Are we
I
missing the
think we've
market here?
just, yeah, I think we've
Trademark.
trademark finding love, Jer. I mean,
Yes.
we've talked about how we met our women in our lives and all the rest of it. But if you were ever mightily curious and you didn't know, maybe there was a few of them on the horizon, you didn't know which one you were probably going to end up with. You couldn't.
I've
You
been
couldn't
yeah, I've
really.
been plagued. Yeah, you know what? I'm only human.
Yeah, this is it. So you're like, hey, it's a little bit
Player's
of
gonna play,
Monica.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of Monica. Who
Yeah. Okay.
knows?
How could Lou Bega have sorted this out, Tom?
Well, what he would have done is he would have covered a plate in flour, thin
Right.
little amount of flour. Gone
Okay.
out, found himself a good old well-moving snail, put it on the flour, the thin layer of flour, covered it with a tea towel, headed off to bed. Next morning, lo and behold, the initials of your new true love. There you go. Just putting it out there for you people.
There you
Putting it
go.
in the snail trail. Much like Julia Donaldson's The Snail on the Whale, when it went in and wrote on the chalkboard to save the whale down at the beach. Pretty much the exact same thing.
The exact same thing, only it's like, here's who you should hitch your pony to.
This is going to be your, the initials of your true love.
I know people that have chosen their true loves without such a thorough system, Tom.
Yeah, and you know what? Where are they now, Ger? Where are they now?
It's a story for another podcast, Tom.
Counting cars at a funeral. Bad luck. Don't do it. I don't know who the fuck is doing that, but don't count them.
Counting the... Okay, so don't count the amount of cars at a funeral.
Do you know the way people go, Jesus is the biggest funeral I ever seen? They were up the road for fucking miles.
Yeah.
And they go, I'd said it was 2,000 people there. And I went around, okay, quantify the people, but do not go. The horses and carts, the fucking motorbikes, the jalopies, the fucking penny farthings, the fucking sedans, the fucking estates, whatever they all came in, don't go counting them. Bad luck.
Really?
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Bad
Okay,
luck.
that's okay.
So if you got a kid that loves counting fucking cars, leave him at home instead of that funeral.
Don't take him to that
Four-leaf
particular
clover
funeral.
for our American friends who love a good four-leaf clover.
God damn.
Great. You bought one. You got one. You found one. You want to put it on Instagram. Don't you fucking dare. It's good luck. It's good luck up until a point, Ger. It's good luck to you, but you fucking keep it to you and only you. It's your four-leaf clover.
Right.
Nobody else. You show
Don't
it to
tell
somebody
anyone.
else, you tell it to somebody else, flip it around, it's a fucking bad four-leaf clover, right? So keep it to yourself. Don't be fucking swinging your big four-leaf clover energy around the place. That's all I'm saying.
Gone from being a four-leaf clover to fucking me over.
They literally, let's put that on a t-shirt. Christ,
Yes.
there's zingers coming out left, right, and centre.
Telling you, Tom.
You need good luck, Ger. Say you need good luck. You're down your luck. You need good luck. You're like, maybe I should go see somebody about it. Well, if you know the seventh son of a seventh son, he's your man. He's pretty
right,
much...
you see, this is it as well, Tom. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear the seventh son of a seventh son can do pretty much anything. Like,
he is a
anything.
fucking rock star.
The seventh son of a seventh son is the fucking Middle Island Lidl. Like, there's nothing he can't do. There's nothing you won't get. Whether it's cures, love, advice, monetary issues. Like, seventh son of a seventh son will see you right for all.
See you right. 110%. People have their gurus. They're fucking watching Andrew Tate's. They're watching fucking these fellas fucking shouting at him about fucking getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Just find the seventh son of the seventh son.
Have you ever known the seventh son of a seventh son? Or the
I
seventh...
have not.
No,
I have not.
Even the seventh child of a seventh child. I mean, there's seventh son of a seventh son, Tom. There's only got to be like 5 of those cunts in the whole world, right?
I mean, that's some procreation right there.
7 boys, and of the 7th boy, he went on and had 7 boys.
Yeah.
Or is it like, that he has 15 children, and like, his 13th child was a boy, but it was his 7th boy? Does that count?
I think that counts. I
counts.
I was asking the old man about this, and I gave him that kind of algorithm as well. And he was like, "Oh no, it falls under that." Yeah. So if they 20, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay.
Itchy Pam, money's coming. We all know that one. Itchy coming. Itchy Pam, money coming. In case you didn't, you get them. You got psoriasis. I'm just saying, you're probably going to make some money from it. Who knows?
I do have psoriasis, Tom.
You go, Gerry.
I've made no money from it.
Very wealthy man, people. He's actually a very wealthy man.
Guilt working.
So we're coming close to the end. If you see a white horse,
yes,
by itself, alone in a field, and you're by yourself, just you and the horse.
Yeah.
Immediately, don't be waving at no Mr. fucking horse. Don't be going getting him some grass. Before you do any of that, spit once on the ground, tramp the ground 3 times. You be good luck. You don't do any of that shit. You're fucked for the day.
At least this one is limited to a day.
Yeah, the day. The same day one, I had one tied in with it too, but the same thing, and there's no out of this, only heading back home. If you're heading out to work and you see a lone red-haired woman and you're by yourself, go home. Fucked.
Really?
If that's the first person you met of the day, now I feel bad for anybody who's married. like a red-haired woman. But
But
look,
then
it
she
is what
wouldn't
it
be a
is.
lone red-haired woman because she'd be with you.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, okay, that's probably how it cancels itself out. But if you see, much like the whistling woman, if you see a lone redhead woman, you're by yourself. You see her, go home. The day
And
is gonna fucking suck
we've got a lot of
balls.
listeners, Tom. I'm sure. I'm certain. Maybe five, maybe six of the fuckers
Mm.
who are new to the country. Maybe they came over here to work in Google or Facebook or one of these big tech places, and they're you know unaccustomed to Irish ways. You can take the day off work. Google are okay with this. Google will give you the day off work. Facebook will give you the day off work. It's
Literally
this
refer them to this podcast.
to the just tell them about they've it's in your contract, the red haired whistling woman clause.
Yeah.
And if you
If she's on the back of a
if
fucking white horse, that's it. Take the month. Take the
if your
month.
boss gives you shit about this, refer them to the clause in your contract.
Just get ready to start using Microsoft Teams a lot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So finally, Gerry, we've ripped through a good, bad, but mostly bad throughout the entirety of this. A lot of this falls on your
Predominantly bad, Tom, yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of things you can do. Couple of things you can do to cover yourself. Seventh Son and all the rest before leaf clover. Keep it to yourself. But if the main thing being Piseogs. So finally, the protection from a Piseog. Now you asked how you'd go about it. It'd be a silly man that wouldn't have sorted himself prior. It's like insurance. It's like insurance. You
Right.
get caught with your pants down, you fucking crack your car into the back of somebody else, you forgot to fucking update your insurance. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Bust out the credit card. Fuck you. You didn't think ahead. Same as that. With Piseogs, holy water. All four corners of your land. As soon as you purchase, like literally you sign the ink not wet on the solicitor's fucking page, you fucking get to that land. You get it out. Say you're not a religious person, Ger. Okay, you're not for holy water. Where the fuck do I get holy water? The church is closed. Cripes. A gorse bush. A gorse bush. Or, now gorse is easy enough to get your hands on down the country. If failing all that, you get yourself maybe a 5-gallon drum or a 5-liter drum of water of a place where 3 rivers meet. Easy on Google Maps nowadays. Easy. Where 3 rivers meet. Get the water from the center of that. And that's you. That's you.
And
just get it to all 4 corners. If there's 5 corners, if there's 6 corners, get it to fucking them too. Get it to all the corners of your property. You're good. So no egg, no fucking bundle of sticks, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, so okay, so I go and get this. I'm going to go get some holy water, Tom, because I'm not fucking around going to where 3 rivers meet. We're on my Indiana Jones. Like, it's very simple. Go to the chapel, get a bit of holy water, and splash it around the place. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do that.
I can get you a gorse bush if you want to just drag it around the carpet as well. I do. Whatever you want.
Fucking rhombus of land I buy. Because that's what I was going to say. Because it seems to me like any cunt could just be fucking eggs over your boundary wall.
Tramp, yeah.
Every May Day, May Eve. I beg your pardon. And there's fuck all you can do about it. Like it just seems to be like, oh Jesus, relentless. But apparently you can, as you say yourself there, you can.
Well, you can future-proof yourself. You know what I mean? You can Piseog-proof yourself. So. You don't have to ring Liberty Insurance. You're not comparethemarket.com. You're just covering yourself. So
I mean, it seems to me, Tom, that even if you are even slightly wary of Piseogs, in the slightest, you just do that, right?
Why not?
Why not?
Do you think I won't? Do you think I don't?
I don't know.
I bought land. First thing I did.
No, I'm not in the market for land right at this very second, but.
Hey,
maybe that's why all my other property ventures failed, Tom.
It was like that fucking marshmallow plant you wanted to build that time. It's like, how, McBride? Not again. I've given it all to you. This has been
what you people do with this information is your business.
Exactly. You can laugh it off.
Don't fucking say Tom and Gerry didn't sort you out.
But we told you how to get ahead of it, how to get out in front of this. We told you the things to look out for. We told you the things that are non-avoidable to a degree, but we've given you everything. We've given everything you can do and deal with Piseogs coming down the line. Other than that, I mean, you're on your own, son.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
go
on
with
your
your
own.
God. Yeah,
Um, yeah, that has been Piseogs, Ger. That's
yeah.
everything that I felt was worthy of digging up. There's a fucking rabbit hole, and I would invite people to go down them. It's a right bit of crack. There's fucking so many,
This
and
is
they.
going to be one of these ones. We always said this wasn't a learning podcast, but this is going to be one of these ones where people will turn around to us and go like, "Ah, yes, that's very derived from the raw meat red-headed woman whistling challenge of central Germany from the 1600s and all
I
this
want
kind
to
of thing."
hear.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
hear
fuck, sure, maybe.
because there's people with even more time in their hands than us, Ger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're literally being paid at work to do fuck all. You know what I mean? So if they do want to get to the bottom of it, or if they grew up somewhere where they had something bizarre where people had to wear fucking, I don't know, bits of corn up your nose on the fucking morning of, April 13th. We want to hear about it. And
Yes,
what
indeed.
have been the outcome? Could you avoid it? Other Irish superstitions and Piseogs, or if you have one from your country that possibly,
Reach out to us, guys. Reach out to us for God's sake. But don't, like, you know, step lightly, okay? Don't come to us too quick these days because we're very fucking spooked by all these things. So don't just write it on a bundle of sticks and throw it over the boundary
Jesus
walls of our land.
Christ.
No, we're not going to read that. We're going to be freaked out
Oh,
by that.
hey, I'll write it on the back of an egg and leave it under at your door.
We don't
No,
want you to do that.
no.
No, what you can do if you're going to do anything is you're going to do it by the tried and tested fairy proof method that is social media. You can get
Mm,
the Tom and Jerry show on Twitter, on Instagram, probably somewhere on Facebook. You'll find either himself, Tom O'Mahony, or myself, Gerry McBride. You know how to spell it. Stick some combination of that into it. You will get us on Twitter or Instagram, less on Facebook. I dare say we're not going to be on Threads anytime soon.
nope.
Or you can indeed go for the show itself. If you like the show but just don't really like either of us enough to give us a follow, you can find at Tom O'Mahony. No, that's him. At Tom and Jerry Show Podcast or some variation thereof. Stick it into Instagram, stick it into Twitter. If two faces show up that look like you think these voices sound like, it's probably us.
Yep, exactly. If you are listening on Spotify, please give us the 5 stars, of course. Do hit the bell so that every time one of these
Ding, ding,
is
ding.
uploaded, it fires up in your phone, so at least you know it's there. 5 stars is the best that you can do, really. If you want to do a screen grab, tag us in it. So just so other people know about it. Maybe you want to tell us about it. Maybe you want to, because people do that too. They can tag us in a thing that they have found on Reels, whether it's on Instagram or something like that. Please do. If you are listening on any other platform, the likes of Amazon Music, we're up there now. We're pretty much on all of them. But I think some of them you can leave a comment. It would be mighty if you left a comment, giving it at the top marks as best you can, because what it does is it makes it more available to more people who are looking for random things like the weird shit we talk about, and just brings more people into our weird realm. Other than that, Ger, I think I'm a way off to either, I don't know, do I piss in the corners now of the? I got to get my hands in some holy water, gorse bush, and I know where there's three rivers meeting, and they're not going to be meeting for long. So I want to go hang out with these three rivers or something. Just I got to sort the place out here.
I was only kind of half listening to you, Tom. I have to go fuck a load of Haribo out the back door.
Yeah, look, Gerry, look, I don't think I think you're kind of fucked.
I am, yeah.
But look, it's been great knowing you, and I do enjoy this.
Oh, Tom, Tom, I'm not. These Piseogs aren't going to kill me anytime soon.
They're not going to kill you. It's just
heap misfortune on me.
They're going to age you. It's what they're going to. They play the long game. They can play the long game. These lads. So, with that being said, listen, mind yourself, people.
Nice knowing you.